Sup nerds, I'm Nick, and I'm sitting on a rock, but not just any kind of rock. This is the rock that is commemorating the Great Molasses Flood of Boston in 1919. Now you might be wondering, what even is this? How is there a molasses flood? And why is the plaque so tiny? Well, I'm about to explain hopefully all of this to you right now. Alright, so picture this. It's an unseasonably warm day in January 1919. You're in Boston, in the North End, around there. You're just chilling over by the waterfront, and then kablammy, there's a giant 30 to 40 foot wave of molasses that's coming right toward you. This was the situation that a lot of Bostonians were in on January 15th, 1919, and you're probably wondering, okay, why is there a giant flood of molasses in Boston in the first place? Well, here's the story. There's a giant 4 or 5-story tank of molasses, and it's not built well, like, at all. There are stories and accounts of, like, kids going up to the giant tank preceding the disaster and just filling up like cups of molasses because there was so much of it just like coming out of the tank. So on this unseasonably warm day, January 15th, 1919, the tank just burst, and this huge giant flood of molasses just comes roaring out of nowhere and basically traps everyone in the vicinity. It destroys buildings. It even destroys this like elevated rail line bridge thingy. 20 odd people end up getting stuck in the molasses and end up dying because the rescuers can't get them out. And what makes it even worse, and this is kind of like the urban legend, but like for the next 50 or so years after the disaster, on like hot days, you could smell molasses.
Even today, the flood lives on in neighborhood folklore. Just ask Nick Levant from Paul Carey's Coffee.
Supposedly you can still smell the molasses when it gets hot enough. And
it was basically like a horrible, god-awful reminder of such a weird, tragic event in the city's history. So, yeah. Hi there, Editor Nick here. I'm just jumping into the video to explain a point that I referenced earlier regarding why the plaque at the site is so small. Why is the plaque so tiny? And I just want to say that while researching for this video, I found an article from the Boston Magazine that was written in January of 2019, basically asking why there isn't a whole lot of like signage talking about the disaster, which is really funny because when I went, you know, earlier this summer, 2024, I found that other sign that I shown earlier, the one from the Friends of the Boston Harbor Walk. It's kind of cool to see that within 5 years, a group of local people were able to get this kind of sign put in place to better document local history, and I just thought that was really cool. So, anyways. So that was the Great Molasses Flood of 1919. I hope you learned something, because this is kind of interesting, and it's kind of weird that it happened in the first place, and a little bad and not great. But anyways, all right, see ya.